What's up, everybody out there? How you doing? Welcome back to another episode of Peppy's Point of View. I'm your host, your R&B historian, your favorite music critic, Peppy. And as you know, the month of February is Black History Month. But I also have seen the hashtag Black Heritage Month. So Black History Month, Black Heritage Month. We're celebrating the music of African Americans. And what I decided to do is look up a list of the 50 top black female albums of all time. And I know how we feel about our list. Some people actually don't like these lists, especially when we do this kind of like versus thing, like this artist versus this artist, or this artist song versus that artist song. Some people don't like it. They're like, hey, can we just talk about, the music and let it be a contribution thing and not a competition thing? And listen here, I definitely understand how you feel. Oh, believe you me, I understand how you feel because we definitely do go to bat for our entertainers, as far as the music and things like that, is concerned, blah 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 blah, right? So I want you to know that I feel you on that, especially when I looked at this particular list or a particular list and I discovered that the ladies of In Vogue was not on that list for their 1992 best-selling album Funky Divas. So I had to correct that and put them on my list. Okay? You understand what I'm saying? So who do we have here today? Well, actually, we have Ashanti. And guess what? Ashanti's album was not on that list, but I know you guys are probably wondering why is it that I'm speaking or covering Ashanti? Well, simply because of, the passing of Irv Gotti. And I came across a clip, a snippet of an interview she recently had did, talking about her relationship with Irv Gotti. And so I was like, you know what? I think I need to cover Ashanti. So that's what I did. I came over here real quick, sat down, listened to her debut album. Yes, that's what I do over here. I actually listen to the album. I just don't go in and just, pull commentary from here and from there and other, critics' reviews, so on and so forth. No, babies. I'm here to tell you, I actually sit down, listen to the music. And this is a good segue to talk to you guys about what it is that I do. What do I do? Well, as I said in the beginning, I'm your favorite music critic. Okay, so we're talking about the music over here. And from time to time, I have been known to dish out the dirt on who drop kick who in these entertainment streets. I do that. And I can do that well when I want to do it. Like I said, sometimes I just don't feel like doing things like that. I have to tell you, I'm just at a different stage in my life. Now, sometimes I do that behind the scenes, I talk to people about certain things behind the scenes, but just to kind of talk about it, I don't know. Sometimes I think about I want to do that, and I know you get a lot of views and a lot of, things going on, this, that, and the other, but I try to be responsible when it comes to people's lives. And I have to also tell you that I actually do respect people in their privacy, to believe it or not. If some people, if they talk about it, I'll talk about it. I put it to you like that, you know, and leave that part alone. But anyway, so let's go ahead on right into it and talk about this Ashanti's album. Okay. Now, I was pleasantly surprised when, first of all, I was thinking about listening to Ashanti's album because I was like, okay, I think this is a good time to listen to her album. And I have to tell you guys, I paused. Oh, yes, I did. I came to a complete pause and I said, do I want to do this? I don't know. I'm trying to, I'm liking what's happening right now because I'm kind of breaking off from my favorite R&B divas of my era, which would be, of course, the 80s and the early 90s. So this is giving me an opportunity to break away from that and just listening to this other music, other artists as well, which I intend to do anyway. I guess I just been doing it at a snail's pace. Okay. So anyway, I'm gonna try my best to, branch out and do those things more often this year. I made a commitment to myself to do that, and not only that, if you are a subscriber over here, or if you are a frequent viewer over here, then you can actually have noticed, probably picked up on that I have been pretty much posting every day. So that's what I'm gonna try to do this year as well, is post more often, as often as I could possibly do that post, because I enjoy hanging out with you guys, and I hope you all so enjoy hanging out with me. But as I said about this Ashanti album, I came to a pause because I'm like, do I really want to do this? You know what I'm saying? Like, do I want to listen to Ashanti? Because I have to be quite honest with you, and it's not anything negative. It's just that when I think about R&B divas of a particular decade, some of them are not what I consider to be my R&B divas, my favorite R&B divas, because as you guys already know about me over here, I love my belters. I love my R&B divas, or my divas who can definitely carry a note. I mean, and I'm talking about for a long period of time, hit those high notes, all of that stuff. And then at the same time, they can rock and roll with you, if you understand what I'm saying. So, what does that have to do with Ashanti? I just never seen her like this. So, when I listened to this album, I was pleasantly surprised. Oh, yes, and I love that over here, to be pleasantly surprised. And so I think this is a great opportunity to talk about the album. So let's just go ahead on and dive right into it, if you will. So, what do we know about the album? So, this is me telling you guys, for those of you out there who don't know about a particular album, this is my opportunity to tell you guys about the history of the album a smidge. And then what I'm going to do is tell you how I feel about the album, okay? Or rather, what I think about the album. So, Ashanti, this is her debut album, okay? And it was released April 2nd, 2002 by, I can't say the word, but let's call it The Ink. And Def Jam Recordings. It was recorded in New York City and Los Angeles between 2001 and 2002. It was during the time period, of course, where uh, you know, I guess you could call the Ink was also making their breakthrough, creating a name for themselves, because you had the Ink, what you had Bad Boy Records, so on and so forth. And I'm going to talk to you guys about this Bad Boy thing. And so it actually features guest appearances by Gotti, Ja Rule, of course, and Notorious B.I.G. I was surprised when I was like, Notorious B.I.G. showed up on this album. It also had contributions from production from Sheik Santana. I have no idea who that is. Gerard Thomas and Reggie Wright. Okay. And Seven Aurelius. I think I'm saying that right. And of course, Irv Gotti himself. Ashanti debuted at number 1 on the US Billboard 200 and the top R&B hip hop albums chart, with first week sales of 503,000 units, the biggest first week sales for a debut female artist up to that point. I want to talk about that a little bit too. I thought that was kind of bananas to for a first week sale of over. I mean, the album went gold the first week, and I'm trying to think, like, everybody loved that song so much, her first song so much, that the album went gold. Pretty much, its first week. I'm like, I know we liked Foolish, but I was like, I don't know. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. The album was certified triple platinum by the Recording Industry Association of America. All right. It earned Ashanti 3 Grammy Award nominations: Best New Artist, Best Female R&B Vocal Performance, and Best Contemporary R&B Album, winning in the latter category. I can kind of see that. Billboard magazine ranked Ashanti at number 100 on its top 200 albums of the decade. Mm, this is getting more interesting. The album has sold 6 million copies worldwide. Do tell. Do tell. So certified 3 million copies. It has sold 6 million copies worldwide, and the album sold 503,000 units in its first week. I don't know what to say about that. I really don't. I mean, I guess it was happening around this time when this album was released. Like a lot of albums were having some very, well, let's just say uh, some huge numbers during the first week, So I'm not going to say it's not heard of that it was happening, but I just find it hard to believe that on a single. And I looked and tried to figure out, like, wait a minute, I do recall Ja Rule. Could it be Ja Rule and the fact that he had such a they had such a big song together? Could it have a lot to do with that? I don't know. I just don't know. I'm not going to say I'm buying it. I'm not going to say I'm not buying it, but I am going to say, mm-hmm. I ain't the one to gossip, so you ain't heard it from me. Now, when I begin to listen to an album, as you guys already know, I have to go in and think about what was on my mind at the time, so on and so forth. Just kind of give you a brief, history. Well, yeah, what my point of view could possibly be, right? And so I always ask myself the question, like, what do I think? What was I feeling? What was going on at the time? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm here to tell you, when I decided that I was going to listen to this album, I just didn't know what to expect. I'm saying to myself, like, I don't know. I mean, I really don't know, because I don't consider Ashanti to be a singer. So I'm like, do I really want to do this? And I'm here to tell you, at first, uh, I started to play it and I was like, oh, okay, because y'all know how I feel about my intros. So I was like, okay, I can deal with this intro a little bit. But then it got to Foolish. I was like, oh my gosh, I do remember now. I remember now. Ashanti, you were. You are the ish. Bish. You are. I was like, oh my gosh, Ashanti. I'm like, yes, I do recall this era. I do. And I'm like, okay, Ashanti, I'm feeling you. I do remember. I was just thinking about, maybe like the Ja Rule song. So I'm associating you with that. And of course, it is what it is. But when I heard Foolish, and then I got to the next song, which the next song was what? I believe it's Happy, right? I was like, okay, I remember. That what's her name? What's the lady name? Betty Wright, when she is singing the song Tonight's the Night, and she was like, uh some of us got to think a little longer than the other. And she was talking about, I need y'all to hurry up and play catch up, because I don't want y'all to be sitting back. And then all of a sudden say, oh, now I remember. You understand what I'm saying? So that's kind of like where I am right now. Like, oh yeah, now I remember. I need to quit. I must be on one today. But you know what? I think overall, in general, I guess this is just a vibe I'm getting off of listening to Ashanti's album. It was just a good vibe. I mean, this was, can I say it? Oh gosh. See, y'all need to stop. See, now y'all messing with me. Y'all know I try to be nice over here. Y'all know that. Why y'all? I don't know why I feel like I need to put a ledge up here, but I'm gonna put a ledge up here. These are just my opinions. These are my opinions. I'm just gonna say it. It's my opinion. It's my point of view. That's all it is. It's no disrespect to anybody. But when I got finished listening to the second single, Happy, I said to myself, I really love this album. I think I'm gonna love this album. I said, why does this sound like Mary J. Blige with better vocals? You know, I know y'all. I said it. I'm sorry. Oh God, see y'all. See, I know. I'm trying to tell y'all because I know. Like Erica Badu said, I'm sensitive about my. So I get that. That's why sometimes I try to be just like, don't do it. But it is. This gave me a Mary J. Blige album feel. So as I'm listening to the album and I'm thinking Mary J. Blige, I'm not thinking about anything in particular. I'm just saying this is Mary J. Blige. And so when I listened to the song Happy, I was like, yeah, this is Mary J. Blige with better vocals. And I'm like, okay, I'm liking it. So as I'm listening to the album, and I would just put it pretty much say it to you this way, okay? The overall album is good. Overall, the album is good. I just don't like these albums that have all of these tracks on them. Like in the case of Ashanti, she has all of these tracks on this album. She has more than 12. I can do nine. Between 9 and 12 is my limit. Between 9 and 12. I might feel cheated if you give me 8, but 9 and 12, anything over 12, I'm like, you wasting my time. I ain't gonna try to listen to all of this. I just know this is gonna be a bunch of foolishness to me. And not only that, when I hear an album that has that many tracks on it, I already know all of these tracks. It's just gonna be just the same production over and over and over and over again. And that's exactly what this album is to me. From track one, the intro song, Ashanti, all the way down to track 9, Voodoo. I'm here to tell you it was like listening to the same album, or at least when you get to track 7. How about track 7? So from 1 to 7, it's just like, okay, come on, enough is enough. I'm liking everything you guys are doing with this album. It's a great album, but all I'm here to tell y'all is I'm like, okay, this is the same production over and over and over and over again. And I'm at this point that, of course, the album is a winner, but I'm saying it's too Mary J. Blige. And now I want to hear some versatility when I get to track 7. But it makes me think of, as I said before, this album, Mary J. Blige. Just like what's her name? Kelly Price's album, Soul of a Woman. It made me think of Bad Boy as well. So now, as I'm listening to the album, I'm not doing any research on this album at all right now because I like to listen to it first. And then once I get my groove in, I started, kind of looking up things about the album, so on and so forth. And what I found out about this particular album with Ashanti is that she actually has some form of a bad boy connection. So I said, oh, okay. So she actually auditioned, or she was in the process of trying to get a recording contract through Bad Boy Records. And I was like, okay, well, maybe from 1994 all the way up to now, she was very interested in the Bad Boy sound, so on and so forth. And for whatever reason, someone decided that that's the route that they were going to take. And of course, they did a great job. And then when I hear Notorious B.I.G., I'm like, oh, okay, so this definitely is a Bad Boy sound. But I don't know about you guys, but when I looked into the fact when I heard that this was hearing to me similarities with the Bad Boy sound. All right. And then I'm thinking about all of the record companies at the time that were, coming out, like, of course, the Ink, Bad Boy, So Def. What is the one with that boy? Oh, Ludacris. I can't think of his label, but Disturbing the Peace. So you got Disturbing the Peace. You got all of these companies coming up at that particular time. And someone was having some riff tiffs, you know, between and among each other. And I'm saying to myself, like, that was very, very strategic if that was the case. I don't know if there was a beef between the Ink and Bad Boy. I'm not quite sure, but I know the Ink and 50 Cent them or whatever, had some beef. And so I was like, that was a very bold move on Irv Gotti part. If in fact he, you know, was trying to make Ashanti a Mary J. Blige type singer, so to speak. And I'm here to tell you this album screams Mary J. Blige. It just does. I am sorry. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. But here's another thing too. I don't know if you guys was thinking about this. Well, you probably wasn't, but I was when I was listening to this album. I was like, what kind of category will I put Ashanti in? What category of singer? And then I just started throwing out some names in my head, and I went as far back as to my 80s all the way up as I possibly could. And I was like, okay, Sheena Easton. Because when you think about Sheena Easton and the lover in me, follow where I'm going. I was like, Sheena Easton. I was like, Karen White, Pebbles, J Lo, Tiara Marie, Ella May, Shanice Wilson, Tracy Spencer. Do you see kind of like where I'm going? Like, is she in that category of singer where you know you're going to get some good music and you're going to get at least some kind of a decent vocal? You're not necessarily seeing people, in the rafters, these artists in the ladies in the rafters, so to speak, but you get decent vocals, so on and so forth, and you like, oh, okay. You see where I'm going? So what category of singers would this would Ashanti be in? But she definitely sounds great. She does. So Brandy, I would put her in the category with Brandy as well. As far as my singers are concerned, I don't know. Uh, uh, and then I get to a song on the album called "Scared." I love the acoustic vibe on "Scared." Okay, and I don't know. You guys probably want to go back and listen to this song called "Scared" because when I was listening to it, guess what I was thinking? Total. I was like, this is a Total song. This is a bad boy song, and Total would eat Scared up. That's what I was thinking. Total is definitely uh would definitely, probably I could hear the ladies of Total singing Scared. Put it that way. Speaking of Ella May, the song Baby. I hear Mary J. Blige, but I'm thinking Ella May would definitely sing the song. And unfortunately, as I said before, with tracks 1 through 7, you get this uh up tempo, same kind of track, same kind of feel, vibe off the album. And now I'm saying, just give me a slow song. Give me my ballad. Now I just want my ballad. I want my slow song. Where is it? And ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, she just did not do that on this album. Child, I don't know what they was thinking, but now there's a song on the album called Movies. And yes, it's a good slow song. You might want to squeeze up with your boo or with your bae or whatever we calling them these days. And it's a good has a good sensual quality to the song. But I was like, now that's not kind of like what I'm wanting from her. And then of course you get to the song Dreams, and again, I love the acoustic feel on that song as well as the DeBarge sample. They sample one of DeBarge's songs as well. So overall, in general, I have to say I'm not totally impressed with the album, being that songs such as "Foolish," "Happy," "Baby," and probably "Dream" are my go-to songs on the album. I mean, was it worthy of the 6 million copies worldwide being sold? More than likely, it probably was. You have to keep in mind too, as I said before when I was talking about the Mariah Carey album, Emotions. Yes, she had 3 singles probably released from that album, but they were big singles, and so that's the same thing probably here. A decent album, but you have some big singles off that album, which just pretty much helped to push that the album into multi-million sales, copies sold. And there you have it. It's not necessarily the best album by Ashanti, and I haven't heard any of her albums except for this one right now, but I will say it's a decent album. Ashanti is definitely worthy of the hype. She really is. I mean, I am going to definitely say, she is definitely on that list of divas that I'm going to, because I've listened to her music now. the album, and I've checked her out, I would say, you know what, Ashanti, you're definitely not a slouch. And being that you're married to Nelly right now, maybe Nelly and you can get together and put out a song together. I think it's definitely worthy of that, you know. And your fans know you as, you know, the Ashanti, and we know Nelly as Nelly. And so we can definitely see, or at least I can see, you and Nelly doing that Ashanti Jaru type vibe. You understand what I'm saying? It is what it is, love. I thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. For those of you who have, you know, stayed all the way up until the end of this commentary, I think it's only appropriate for me to say, hey, hit the like button, subscribe button, the share button, all that stuff. Leave comments. Do the whole nine over here. You understand what I'm saying? I appreciate you, God. I appreciate you guys so much for hanging out with me. I definitely do. My motto over here is simple, and that is put your behind where your heart desires to be. And whenever I leave my mother's presence, she always says to me, she says, baby, remember, I love you, but God loves you best. I look forward to seeing you next video. And until then, you should know what to do by now. Take care of you. See you next video. All right. Take care.